Hello and welcome to Rhythm and Chai. I am Urja Desai Thakore. This conversation carries time, almost 2 decades of it. Sanjay and Pranav began learning with me in 2006. Back then, none of us could have imagined how our roles would shift from student to colleague, from teachers to friend, from supporter to trustee, and at times back again. This episode isn't about growth in a straight line. It's about growth that pauses, turns, steps away, and sometimes finds its way back. I have learned that growth doesn't always mean moving forward. Sometimes it means leaving. Sometimes it means returning, changed, clearer, or simply more ready. With Sanjay, our relationship gradually moved into friendship. With Pranav, there were moments of stepping in and stepping back, covering classes, holding space when needed. And with both of them, there were times when distance was necessary. What remained was relationship. So today I'm sitting with Sanjay and Pranav. We are here to talk about learning, living, and returning, and about growth as a lifelong practice. This is Rhythm and Chai, and this is New Feet, Always Growing. So, welcome Sanjay and Pranav. Thank you for your time today, and let's begin. So, I'm going to share some two footages. Okay, and then I'm going to share, as you can imagine. Your first thoughts when you saw the two different clips. By the way, I hope you have got your chai with you.
I've got my chai.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. This is,
Sanjay, yeah,
yeah.
Yes.
cheers.
Cheers.
Well, actually, I think Sanjay and I, did we find that old clip of Waterman somewhere just before we did the second show? And we had
Yes.
seen that, at that point. So the first clip, just to clarify for the listeners, it was from 2006.
2008.
Oh, eight? Okay. I mean, still by then we were relatively junior in Kathak. And I think, I mean, I sort of feel that I was doing the best I could within the capacity, like the mental capacity I had to understand what I was doing. I think that was it. But I think that I mean, if the question is, and you haven't really asked this, but it's the thing that comes to my mind first is what is the difference between the second and the first? I would say that the second one, which was from this year, just feels like it feels much fuller. Like I'm a actualized person, like inhabiting these movements. Whereas I feel like with the first one, it's like someone else's coat that I've put on, and I'm just kind of doing it and doing it to some degree of kind of accuracy and you know it looks okay, but it's not my coat that I'm wearing, and I think it takes a bit of time for that to you develop into ownership of that thing.
I think it is. It's quite funny to see myself and Pranav as so young and almost 18 years back, 19 years back, trying to move around the stage. I think that was my major challenge at that time. I still, to this date, I think moving around the stage is a challenge. But the movement vocabulary that we learned with you at that time, and the movement around the stage, how to use space around your body and the stage, was a big challenge, which I think to date remains. But I think I'm a bit more comfortable with it now, a bit more confident. Although at that stage, I feel we were very confident to actually think, "Oh, we can pull this off."
Yeah, I think
Something
we were
like
just young at that stage, weren't we? So um, yeah, and I think that's there is. I mean, there was a certain amount of difficulty, as Sanjay was saying, because obviously it was a slightly different style for us when we joined you at that point, and quite different from what we'd experienced in the past. So there was a kind of getting acclimatized to it. But I think there's a sort of thing of the understanding where the movement is coming from within your body that now I have a much better perspective of. And maybe that is due to time, as you were saying, is maybe a function of just getting older and understanding. You see more stuff, whether it's dance or real life or whatever. You have a bit more of perspective, or whether actually we've accumulated enough training by now, actually just specifically in Kathak, to change how we look at it.
So this actually takes me to the thought that we actually never met first as teacher and a student, because I remember that you guys came to see a performance. What is your first recollection of our first meet?
Oh, I am not sure whether Pranav came for that performance. I was definitely there.
I
Um,
think he was there. His gungrus were there
My
for sure.
gurus. That's my recollection. So all I remember is meeting you and handing over my gurus. I don't know whether I was actually in the audience that time or whether I was just passing through, dropping off the gurus. But yeah, I think because Ajita has said, "Oh, do you have yours with you?" or something like that, because someone I know doesn't have theirs. Or
I was told that there's a new dancer and a teacher in the country, and she's young, vivacious, and she comes from a style of Kathak that is amazing. So maybe if you're a bit tired of your training already, maybe you should start learning from her. Let's go and watch her perform. So that was the sales pitch that was given to me by Gopna Mehta, Gopna auntie. Uh, so that's what I was told. Prana was obviously told to bring his gurus.
So for the context, and I feel really bad to say this, that I had this performance, but I would kind of give away to the fact that I was pregnant at that time.
Heavily pregnant.
Pregnancy
yeah,
brain was kicked in, and I had forgotten my gungrus for the show, for the performance where I was supposed to wear a gungru. And I panicked, and I had called Archita Kumar, whom I knew, and I said, Do you have anyone available to have lend me their gungrus? And she had already left, so I think Pranav, she kind of contacted you, and you very kindly handed those gungrus to me, uh, and it saved me. I was like, otherwise, I don't know what would I have done. But if I talk about our relationship, all three of us, you guys have never ever called me Urja Didi, but I have always felt the respect from both of you. How do you understand this relationship? Uh, what what is respect for you? What is um, respect for you with hierarchy? What is respect for you without hierarchy? Yeah. Uh,
I mean, it is a very good question because I think a lot of the kind of Indian dance teaching structure, or some of the certainly some of the focus within the Indian dance teaching structure is on respect and what that means. I mean, for me, I feel that it is. I don't feel you can demand respect. I think that's. I think what you end up if you demand respect is a simulation of respect, but it doesn't come from inside necessarily. Necessarily, I feel like respect grows, or as you may. I mean, it doesn't have to grow. I guess you can meet the person for the first time and hear about what they're doing or see what they're doing, and suddenly is there. I think that's fine, but I think it has to be like a self-generated thing. Um, I mean, you're absolutely right. I do respect you, and I think the reason for that is it's because you. I mean, it's the commitment that you demonstrate every day in your dance. You're not afraid of trying new things. If they turn out well, that's amazing. If they don't turn out well, it's a learning experience. But you've committed 100% to doing it, and I think that is very I mean, respectable is not the word, but it's the kind of thing that promotes a lot of respect because you are. It feels like you're not afraid to try new things, try different things, and I think that that's quite a rare quality. Sometimes it's so easy to be in the kind of safe, formulaic area.
I think it's the same for me. Respect cannot be demanded. Uh, it's either given or commanded. And in this case, I feel it's both because I the first time I've watched you perform there, heavily pregnant. Uh, do not remember this Gungru incident, to be honest, but you were absolutely fantastic on stage. And that day, I sort of decided, okay, I want to learn from her. Uh, and the first time we came into class, I remember we were in the loft of some house somewhere. Uh,
In Dollis Hill.
and you just started giving, and at that time you commanded that respect. But I feel maybe we got introduced more as friends first. I'm not sure why that Didi, or maybe the age difference was not that much at that time. I didn't feel the age difference. Maybe I'm not sure what happened, but that Didi or the Guru or G did not come into being. But the respect was automatically there from day one because you sort of. Uh, you were the teacher and choreographer, but also uh, for you, you sort of gave us everything that we would want from a teacher. Uh, and without knowing that respect was there, without actually putting it into as many words. And sometimes calling someone Didi, or, using these sort of uh,
Titles.
titles for people does not mean that there is respect there at
Mm.
all.
Absolutely.
So it does not
Yeah.
mean that. And I think you 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 with your demeanor, I think you commanded that respect from us, putting us on stage at that point as well, and giving us two. I think that we performed two pieces that day. And both of them very challenging, very much beyond our, I would say, capacity at that time. But you were like, you can do it. I'll teach you. And there's this and there's this, and we were thinking at that time. I still remember to this day. that we were thinking, how awkward is this? I feel like I'm looking weird. Why are we walking this way?
Yeah,
Why are
yeah.
we walking?
We're
Like, why are we
emphasizing all the
looking at
wrong points of
yeah,
all the
why are we looking at
compositions.
each other? And then we saw the choreography, like when you
Yeah.
see the video, and I'm just like, okay, so this is this formation. Oh, okay, this can happen. Like, and you opened our brains up, like it was
Yeah, I
with
think there's something that I would add to that, which is like the teaching. I mean, the learning experience. I mean, yes, we respect you as a teacher, as a choreographer, but I think it's also singularly clear that you respect your students, and that also inspires
yeah,
respect in the students because it's not just a
yeah.
kind of top-down
No,
imposition
it
of
goes
teaching.
both
Here is the
ways.
knowledge. Because I mean, certainly from my experience, when I needed to leave, I was free to leave, and that freedom is something that many teachers, if there's a threat of a student leaving, they suddenly clutch them tighter and tighter, and
Yeah,
then also you're very open about or open-minded about learning from going to workshops and learning from different teachers and stuff, getting influences, styles, ideas from outside. So how do teachers get to be in that kind of state of mind is because they're comfortable and they're within their own what they're doing, and it's not a threat to them that people are going outside. And yes, I left, but I came back, and then you never know where these things will end up in the end. So sometimes that freedom that you give to students, I think, is very important. And I think that's one of the key things in terms of inspiring respect in them. And it's also I mean, that's one aspect of I think how at least it seems to me you respect your students, but it's also the learning experience within the classroom, like how you teach, what the atmosphere there, and that is also
yeah,
there's another thing that people want to come to class, right? So it's not like
yeah,
people feel it's like this o'clock on Saturday morning and I've got to drag myself to to wherever. There's an actual desire to
Yeah,
be in
yeah.
that space, which I
yeah.
think is something that is difficult to create.
And just to kind of, the reason I asked this question is, and probably I kind of know the answer, but we have never spoken about these kind of things ever. Like even when you decided to leave, as you said, I never asked you why. I did ask you why you are leaving, and it's you said no, I need some time, or whatever reason you had given me at that time. So, but as I said, I always felt the respect from both of you. So you think that can respect be felt, or do you need to name it?
I don't think you need to name it.
Respect is felt. I think
Yeah.
love is felt. Respect is felt. I don't think um, you need to put into as many words. I
Mm,
think
mm.
actions do speak louder than words. Uh, uh,
Yeah.
Many times, I would say. It
Yeah,
was,
exactly. I'm sorry, was just interrupting, but I mean, a student may come back again and again and again and again because, and the way they treat you, their behavior, that can all show that they've got respect for you. You don't, I mean, they don't need to be there formalizing it in a way.
Yeah.
Now, so for me, I feel like we're going on to the topic of touching people's feet and like showing respect in
yeah,
like, outward ways. Now, for me, that's a convenient kind of shorthand to show people respect by touching their feet, or at least I touch the floor in front of their feet. If I stopped doing that, I would hope that it would still be visible that I respect that person anyway. But I mean, for me, I like doing it because doing that, well, it's not a ritual, but it's just something that kind of
yeah,
focuses my mind into what I'm going to get from that moment. But
Yeah.
I would hope there would still be there, that
I remember very clearly this conversation with Kumi Ben. She would always say that every time you see me, you dive down. What's wrong with you? And I would say that, Kumi Ben, this is my way of kind of showing my devotion to you, to the art form. So don't stop me.
yeah,
But I remember very clearly from my very early days that I decided that I'm not going to ask people to kind of do that, because it is prayer is such a personal thing, and you can just do prayer whichever way you want to do, and it will reach to the person whom you are praying to. Going back to the learning, uh, when across these years of learning the dance and the learning the dance form, When did you think that learning stopped being just about the steps? Um, or is it about more than that? Um,
Wow. It was all steps for me till I started learning from you. To be honest, I can see in that video that I'm still very robotic. But I feel that performance, after that performance, the first summer school I had attended properly after that performance, I felt like a changed person. And I think dance, there was a click in my head between your learning and attending that summer school. Uh, there was a key that sort of clicked the lockout, and I was just like, oh, so all these things that I've learned from Urja, now I'm using it in a different teacher's choreography and looking better
Yeah, yeah.
than what I would if I was just doing it mechanically. I think that was, I can't remember, it was after this performance for sure, but because this performance was in March, April, I can't remember when it was. And I mean, we did really well. I still look at the video and I think, for the amount of training we have had, and for we had not learned with you for like 3 years or 4 years before that or anything like that. So it was. I do pat myself on the back as much as I do to you, but
both of you.
um, but uh, but that workshop that I did, I was actually really comfortable with everyone else who was more advanced than me. And I was thinking, I think I'm more. And at one point, I thought, oh, is it me? And then I thought, actually, maybe it's not me because I've been attending workshops since day one almost. But the clicking thing was because I've learned with you for, say, 1.5, 2 years almost at that time. And that was my key because your training, unlocking body movements and the spatial awareness clicked with that choreography or that dance. And then I was like, oh, so I can actually do this like this. I can actually do it like this. And then from that obviously that was just the start. And then it sort of grew from there into loving, um, exploring dance rather than just doing it or having fun and just, I still have fun, but like I think it's just it was more to do with the fact that I was aware of what I was doing, more aware.
I would also echo the kind of the key in the lock thing that happened, because I think it was definitely whatever summer school we attended after that, that suddenly we were like, oh, we can do this. And we know how to go to that corner over there because we do that all the time. So, and whereas everyone was like, oh, no, now where are we going now? You know, like in the middle of
Yeah.
some chukka or something. So and then we were like, oh, okay. So that, there was immediate tangible value, I think, from that. I think that thing about just not doing the steps feels like a very internal thing to me. And I think I had to go through certain stages. And I think there were certain things that we certainly did with you. I think the long period that I spent, whenever we arrived, 2006, and I left in 2012. So that was 6 years. Like, that was certainly one big kind of learning experience from start to finish that kind of settled quite a lot in me. But then you look at the things that we did for Academy, for example, in 2013, we'd had that Navodit thing that Sanjay and I did. And I still look at that and it still feels very sort of raw. Like, some of it's kind of fast and accurate, but it doesn't feel like I'm breathing the dance. And I think that took a little more time. I think the a few summer schools with some quite senior gurus like Gumi Ben and other people from India, like that, I think that changed my perspective quite a bit, because the detailing is something that they give you, right? So that is very, that does change the shape of your dance as well. But I think maybe for me, my main thing was the solo that I did in 2017, which I'd never, done full like hour long with live tabla, live accompaniment, like, and then let alone having to arrange the hall and like public liability insurance. I don't know, all this stuff, right? But actually, the training for that and working out how that would all work together and then kind of making that up to kind of a standard that people would want to pay some money to watch was the kind of, I mean, people always talk about sadhana or riyas or something, but that repetitive kind of grinding of that stuff round and round and round and round was one of the things that I think really kick-started or pushed me to that next level. So I think it was very late, actually, if we're talking about kind of inhabiting the dance a bit more.
And do you, I think you guys have touched on this, but if you want to elaborate, that do you ever feel that the transformation that the learning is like a transformation rather than the accumulation of the compositions? Oh, I know 10 compositions, or I know 3 compositions, or something like that. Yeah.
At the start of my kind of learning, it was a very narrow path with very few compositions, very few kind of things that were that kind of were outside the kind of the core of what you absolutely needed to know. But I think actually, although that may have been a little bit kind of repetitive at the time, what it made me do was that thing that was it Munton? They talk about that churning, right? So you have only 4
Yeah.
things, but you have to sit with those 4 things and somehow make them enjoyable.
Yeah.
So then, actually, for me, it's not really been about the number of compositions ultimately. It's about finding the things that, the hooks in those compositions that I find, oh, there's this moment here, or this, oh, what if we do it this slightly this way or that way, or, you know, emphasize this or that. So I think if you go with that attitude, I think it doesn't matter how much you know, actually. You know, if someone said to me, "Oh, tomorrow you must dance Kalavati Tarana," I would be like, but actually, I don't mind because I can find enough stuff in it to make me quite happy about doing it.
Yeah, it's the same with me, and I think no, I think more than compositions. When we first started, well, when I first started, it was more about speed for me. And I was like, oh, I want to do everything fast. Oh, look at these people doing fast footwork and fast spins and double spins and triple spins. I want to do everything faster, faster. But I think I soon realized that I cannot be bothered with fast. And anyone who knows me knows that as well. So, um, but it was never ever, to be honest, about compositions for me. It was obviously you get something new from someone new, um, or from the same person. You are excited about it because it's new, but I think it's also about doing something well. And I think very early on I realized that I want to do things well. I don't just want to move my arms around, play around. It was just the age that I was in, that I wanted to just do everything fast, and I wanted to move around as fast as possible, and the fastest spin and all these things. But I think I soon realized that that is that is not dance. I think because we had good examples in front of us in terms of dancers, teachers, exactly what Pranav said. You allowed us to watch lots of different things. You did not just Kathak, like Bharatanatyam or contemporary and ballet. You were like, oh yeah, yeah, this teacher is very nice. So you should go and watch this one, or oh, there's a performance happening. Are you guys going for this? And I think that is what changes from just random dancing to classical dancing. That it's not about just accumulating small little things from everywhere. It's about holding on to things and then improving on them as well. As well.
And we, like, of course, the listeners and viewers don't know that after every class we used to go out for, more than me, you guys just
Food.
would go out for a drink and all of that. What stayed in your body beyond the class?
Angles. All I remember is where your navel is facing.
Yes, that's the thing that I take around with me. I agree with that.
And like every time I'm slouching, instead of sort of saying, "Oh, I want to go," like I want to sit straight. I don't sort of sit straight. I sort of I look from my chest eye towards the ceiling because that's something that stayed. I think that is something definitely that has stayed. Like every time, like people have obviously every teacher has their own way of explaining things. What stayed with me is this whole thing about having eyes at every part of your body, and you would be like, oh, there's an eye on your navel, so the eye has to look that way, whereas the eye on the chest has to look the other way. So this is the pose, and you'll be like, oh, okay. So the eye and the, yeah, that stayed with me in real life, like in general life.
Pranav, for you, what stayed in your body beyond the class? One thing.
That's well, maybe mine is a bit more kind of what's the word? Esoteric, or like I don't know, but something a little less, maybe more mental than that. But it's the sensation of having been in class is like and especially at the time when we were learning, like the first time around. I mean, there was long, like 2 hour classes. Like you properly did your tatka, did your chakras properly, and like it was like a. I think it was the feeling of having kind of. It's not quite the same as like working out, but you know what I mean. Like when you've done things properly, you've had something challenging but not too difficult. There's a feeling of very like satisfaction that it's been a good 2 hours well spent.
Great. So now I'm going to ask you something not controversial, but I think again we have touched upon it earlier as well. Pranav, I'm going to start with you. You have been in and out of the class. What does in means for you, and what did out give you that in couldn't?
I think maybe it's easier to start with the second one of those, actually.
Okay.
So what did out give me that in? I think I needed to grow up. There was something in me so let's see, I don't know whether this is too psychological or not. I am an only child. Because of that way I was raised, I never kind of rely on other people for anything, and I've always been very independent. So whether that's in terms of thinking or doing stuff, I don't really get bored because my own company is what I'm used to, right? So I think for me, I needed some. Looking back now, I don't think I knew this at the time because I was too young, and you just don't think about yourself in the ways that you think about now. But I think I needed some room just to push out for myself to be in that space, and then also to see some things that, oh well, this is happening. Can I do this? Can I not do this? So I referred to like the Navadip thing that Academy got to us. I mean, that was helpful because they wanted to give us a platform, and they wanted to try some things. So okay, fine. Then I learned some things from that, and then going to India a couple of times, doing those workshops, and then also the solo and stuff, and then learning from some other people as well. So you find what works for you, and then I think then coming back in, it was it felt more like a fully informed decision about what I wanted to do with this dance when I came back. Like, not necessarily that when I went out, it wasn't helpful, and that's as a result, that's why I was coming back. It was all like the best experience that I could have had, actually, because I mean, in addition to that, I somehow found a way into teaching, which otherwise I didn't I didn't know what was going to happen, but I don't think that was a plan that I had when I left. And then I was doing that for 4 or 5 years, which was an enormous kind of boost to how I looked at dance and what I learned from dance and stuff. So then I felt, oh, actually now I feel ready actually to fully participate, because I've got this all in my bag now, in my toolkit, and now when I'm taking things, I approach it very kind of differently with all of this stuff that helps me understand it.
So, and I do agree to that in and out both are very important for individual to grow, which is true to themselves. So it's very essential that one understand that, okay, I need to take a step back, or I need to kind of now give in for completely. So yeah.
I want to add one other thing actually to that, and then I'll let Sanjay have a go. But I think what I also learned was that actually it's not just the dance experience that I had when I was out. It's the kind of my own personal growth, which has kind of changed how I look at things and how I deal with people and kind of what my response to kind of a teaching environment is. So now I know how to hold a lot more space for the kind of teaching, if that makes sense, like to
It
allow
does.
it to happen. Whereas I think before I was sort of, the teacher wanted you to do this and I wanted to do that, and it was like a struggle slightly to kind of accommodate the two. Whereas I think just growing up, and maybe we want to talk about what dance is like as an old person, but growing up, I think that is part of it. It's just like learning, it's just how to deal with that relationship, because it's a relationship like any other relationship in your life.
Yeah.
Whether it's with your mother, your father, your your
Yeah.
brother, your lover, whoever it is, those are all just human beings trying to get along in one way or another. And I feel like I needed that growth to enable me to properly come back.
Yeah. Right. Sanjay,
Oh
your
God.
reason for stepping away was mainly because of your health. How did you learn to listen to your body, and what did it teach you? And also, kind of, I remember that when you were in that limbo situation, I was also trying to pursue you, kind of convince you to become the producer for Pagrav. I said, I will also kind of pay for your training if you can become. Um, and and then you said, no, that's not for me, and I was okay with that.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, it. What was that? How do you reflect to your life and association with Pagrav and
I I think yeah, as you said, the main reason I left a few times, I would say I left and came back a few times. I had a few sort of breaks here and there. The last one being the longest. Um, uh, but I think it's always been something to do with health, either a shoulder injury or something else. Um, and to be honest, I never looked at it as a my life is better without going to class. To be honest, it was not better without going to class because I always missed dancing, and but the main thing that kept me going was the fact that I was used to, by this time, attending performances and everything. So it just gave me a lot more chance to attend performances without being a student. Uh, so I think it opened up my notions of what dance looks like, what dance should be. I had no sort of, because at this point of time I had my bias had gone down quite a lot because I was not attending classes regularly or not attending classes at all, and I think my brain was a bit more free of any kind of bias. So I sort of looked at performances in a different way, and uh, I watched a lot of different performances, and that was one of the main positives that came out of this whole thing. But also the fact that when I came back, it was positive for me. I was just there was like I had never left, because for me it was like you were already there, you were always there, welcoming, encouraging me to join Pagrav and do certain things here, certain things there. So I was always involved in some sort of way. You have made me very comfortable in this situation. It's nothing to do with it's not to do with the fact that, oh, we are like really buddies or anything like that. It's nothing to do with buddies. I think it's more about comfort of what you leave behind, you come back to what is there in the middle. And in between, there was only love and there was no judgment. I don't think there has ever been judgment in our class.
yeah,
In learning with you or even knowing you or
yeah,
knowing, I think Pranav and my friendship also, I think our friendship also depends on the fact that we have no judgments on these respects. That he might have a different approach to certain things. He might love a performer, and I'll just come out and I'll be like, I wasted my time sitting there. And he'll be like, oh no, but it was so good. It was so much fun. And I'll be like, what did you watch? But like, both of us sort of like, we'll have this, but it will all be in sort of good faith in terms of the fact that we are friends more than we have that mutual respect, love, and friendship.
Yeah, it is also about agreeing to disagree. It's allowed.
Exactly.
I think that goes back to the respect thing that I think that we were talking about before, because I may not agree with what you do, but I absolutely 100% will support your right to do it. If you believe in it, that's your decision. It's not for me to make. I'm sorry, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking just generally, hypothetically.
You as a
it's you have that you are enabled to make your own decisions. It's your artistry, or whatever, your dance practice, or your kind of, you want to go to this summer school and with this teacher, whatever it is. And that I may not want to do that, but that's fine. I have a different path that I want to go down, maybe. Absolutely. And maybe some point those paths will coincide and we'll walk along them together for a long time.
This leads to a very nice question, is that how do we listen to what truly fits us? And even when the opportunity is very generous, do you feel that saying no is like a failure, or you being honest?
I feel if you want to say no, you should say no, though. I mean, it's because it's a voice inside, isn't it? And I think, again, if you're doing things because you feel you ought to do them or you should do them, I think that's okay, but you should know where that it's a good idea to think about where that should is coming from. Like, what is that external thing? Now, it may be, you need to earn some money, so let's do that. Okay, fine. So that's a practical reason, but at least you acknowledge that that is the driver of that.
I think when you are at this stage of age of my life, I would say, not old or young or anything. I'm just saying at this age, I feel if I have pushed myself a bit too much when I was younger, because I think I said yes to almost everything. I hardly ever said no to a dance thing, I would say. But reflecting back, I think I don't think I said no. I said yes or no because I was forced to. It was just a natural thing. I was young. I was excited to do everything and anything.
Can I just interrupt with a particularly one thing that stands out? Do you remember that fashion show we did with the fur? What were they? The fur shawls?
The fur shawls or whatever it was. Yeah.
Like, if someone asked me to do that now, I would definitely say no.
I would say no as well.
But at that age, I think we just.
But also, we didn't know.
We didn't know how bad it would be.
We knew it was a fashion show, but we didn't know because it was a different designers. So one of the designers was amazing, but one of the designers had some sort of fur on her thing, and I just sort of jokingly asked. I was like, "Oh, this can't be real," and she was like, "Oh, it is real." And we were all like, "Oh dear, we don't want to use." So we were like, "Oh, we can't dance with them," and blah blah blah. And they were like, "No, but you have to use them somehow." So we sort of just said, "Okay." And I think Pranav and Khalil were like a little bit more aggressive in terms of like, we don't want to do this. Sanjay, we don't want to do this. And I was, again, the diplomat that I am. I was like, okay, maybe I can go and talk to her. And she's like, okay, you can just sort of use it a little bit. And I sort of convinced him, like we sort of convinced each other, basically. All of us convinced each other. Saying that we use it for like literally like 10 seconds. So we spun around with it. But now if someone comes to me with certain things which I don't believe in, no, not believe in, but like I'm against it. That is against my principles. I will say no.
And now that you have returned as a very different role of a trustee, what does care look like at this position for you?
I think I felt this responsibility a long time back because I was like, as soon as you had informed me that, you want me to be involved in, not just trustee, I think I helped you a little bit, like company formations and this and that. And you're like, no, 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 I want you as a board of director and all these things. I think at that time, I felt the the responsibility that you were seeing yourselves facing, because I never thought about it in that sense, to be honest. I thought you're a teacher, you teach students, and that's it. That's for me your role, basically, where most of the responsibility comes in. But I never really thought about your vision of where you want to take Pagrav, because I never had to be honest, we never had an example of a dance school which had a vision, a broader vision than just teaching students and, throwing out some performances here and there and solos and duets and choreographies and blah, blah, blah. And the teacher gets all the credit for everything and that's it, done, finished. I think that was the first time I saw your vision. And I thought, oh God, this is a lot of responsibility in terms of care, in terms of looking at students, dancers, teachers, and everything. It's a lot of uh, just thinking about a lot of different things that could go wrong as well, and trying to mitigate that risk. That sort of that came up for me the first time we started. I think Navita's was the first time
Yes.
I felt
Yeah.
that, and I was like, oh, so you have a lot more things that you want to do. But you had been like you had been laying the groundwork for it. But obviously at that time I had taken a step back from dancing every day. So I just, yeah.
I mean, I think care. I mean, in the context of being a trustee, is like it's the. I guess it's the kind of. We are that independent voice, aren't we? That you can go to for guidance if you need it. Like no one is, making you. But if you have a vision and you want to take in a certain direction, and it's the same with any artistic work, right? At a certain point in the development, you invite third party eyes basically to look at it as an audience, right, and deliver. Oh well, this worked great, or maybe you should tweak this bit a little bit. And I think it's the same thing, isn't it? By we care about your not only your vision for the kind of the productions that Pagrav produces, but also the training framework and what that's going to look like for the future. And because we love this dance form, right, it's a very natural kind of fit to provide some kind of guidance or whatever it is that you need in order to kind of take the company to that place that you need it to go to.
I think the care comes naturally because I think, as Pranav said, we love the dance form, and your vision sits perfectly with what I feel the dance form can do. So the care comes naturally because I am respectful of the fact that I am loving something, and your vision and that love sort of fits in very well.
So, in the beginning of this podcast, I said that it's always growing. This whole relationship, or your relationship of you with Pagrav, you with me, you with your dance form. What does always growing means to you now, and what it mean to you then?
I think like when I was at the start of the dance thing, I thought that always growing would be having that technical expertise, that I would be punchy and fast and, like Sanjay said, doing double chukkers and like hitting all these sums and doing this very complicated dihai, and I think growing or suddenly getting to this stage is now growing is a much more kind of, again, a kind of internal thing, right? So I now value all the experiences I've had, all the kind of windows and doors that this has opened, not only in terms of teachers, but also in terms of the classes that I've been in, the people I've got to meet, the kind of social side of it outside. I feel that the growth is actually not the visible kind of I'm doing faster chakras or like this or that. It's the kind of the people, it's the thing that spurs the growth, I think. And I would just want to keep on having those relationships. I think that's what always growing, I think, is just accumulating more life experience through this like wonderful art form.
I agree with Pranav 100%. I think it was never about. Actually, the first time I started dancing was to make more friends. To be honest, I never knew what Kathak was, or I mean, I might have known what Kathak was, but like I never thought, oh, I want to learn a classical dance form or anything like that. I started very late, and I think it's about the friendships and the relationships we have built over the years. That even at that stage, it was about friendships, and even at this stage, it is about friendships. In the middle, there's only friendships and relationships. And I think it comes back to the same point about respect as well, that it's a continuous process. Respect cannot be like one day I'm touching your feet. The first day when I'm touching someone's feet, or first time I'm touching someone's feet, that might be very mechanical in terms that you are programmed to touch someone's feet. Then how many times do you touch their feet after that in random situations when you have never met them, or you've not met them for years, you're not learning from them every day, but you see them and automatically you bend forward to touch their feet? That is when the actual real respect kicks in. And I think continuously through these years, it's always been sort of friendships, respect, and relationships that I have built through the years, that is spurring my growth. My growth, I don't calculate my growth in tukras and tihais. Like,
And what would you hope that younger dancers understand about the growth?
I think it just that it doesn't. It as you get older, it doesn't stop. In fact, it increases like tenfold. I think that's what I would say. I think there's this sort of fear that you kind of run out, isn't it? Or you're diminishing as you get older. Things get a bit more physically, a bit more demanding. Like I know certainly when we were preparing for the 20th anniversary one, it was a lot harder getting back up to the standard that is required. But I mean, you can deal with that because that's a physical issue, and anything is solvable with practice, right? So, I think the thing is that I feel like younger dancers, you don't. I mean, the growth comes. You don't know where it's going to take you. I would never have expected I went to India and performed. I would never expect I went to Barcelona and performed there. All of these things, met these people. Gone to Liverpool, had a fantastic time. Gone drinking with like gurus or like whatever. All these things are like just unexpected things, but they are so kind of not precious necessarily, but they're like just so vivid memories that the growth is like spurred by them, if that makes sense.
I would most probably say, uh, don't ever learn this dance form to show off. Uh, I would say learn it because you love it, and cherish the relationships and friendships that you have built. You could build in the future, or you might have already built it, but you might have friends, and you will have loads more friends and teachers and dance enthusiasts who you will meet along the way. And I think cherish those relationships more than just learning and trying to show off in terms of, oh, I'm going to perform here, I'm going to perform there. And I think that will make it a more rounded experience. I still know a lot of people who still dance to dance just randomly, like for the fun, for the show of it, to show that we can do it. It's not we can do it. I think it's about how much love is there for the dance form and for the people who are in the dance form, and that love will carry off on stage, in real life, in general class. I think I think that is something which for me is growth, uh, and that will keep on going with whether you're dancing or not.
Great. Now I have got few like quick fires and just one word answers. And don't
Okay.
think too much, okay? And if you can just probably, Pranav, you go first and Sanjay, you go next. What is your favorite sound?
Piano.
Sarangi.
What topic is no one talking about now that historians will study in future?
Oh, that's tough. You mean in dance or just
Yeah, yeah,
in
in
dance? Oh,
dance.
okay. Yeah, I think the kind of sociological things about having gurus and shishyas.
Hmm.
Yes, abuse.
Who was the person who first believed in you?
My mum.
Uh, Gopnati.
What are you clear about now that you didn't, you were not 1 year ago?
Kind of my physical stamina when I dance in Kathak.
Hmm.
Uh, Dancing more.
Are you happy?
I'm happy. Yes, that is what I'm clear about. The fact that I want to dance more. And 1 year back, I was thinking I'm just a student still. And now I'm more comfortable in saying that I am a student, but I'm back again into my performing mode.
My answer is yes.
Okay, and the last one. What would you like to pay attention to that you don't currently pay attention to, and why? That's a longer one.
Like Vilambit and yes, gut. Tart and gut.
Oh, slow and fast. Okay. Great.
Stamina.
Stamina.
That's it.
Okay.
That's it. It's gone down quite a lot. Um, and yeah, it's just I think it has to come back up again somehow.
Great. So thank you, Sanjay and Pranav.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Rhythm and Chai. These conversations are about remembering, and it's about recognizing the people and relationships that hold the work up. If something in today's conversation stayed with you, I hope you will carry it forward. Join me next time as we continue listening to what lives beneath the rhythm, shared slowly over a chai.